We're now less than 40 points behind Mercedes in Season 1 with Haas. The chase is on. Hello folks, and welcome to episode 15 of Haas using F2 and GP2 champions only. We're gearing up for the Italian Grand Prix at Monza. What a wonderful venue it is for a motor race. As I said in the intro, we are on the tails of Mercedes. We are 39 points behind our old friends at Brackley and Brixworth, and we are also 39 points ahead of, we're 38 points ahead of Alpine. So yeah, we're almost bang in the middle of Mercedes and Alpine, and we have got eyes only for Mercedes and catching them and making Toto Wolff basically explode. I think if we manage to beat Mercedes with a Haas team, then we deserve probably a knighthood. So yeah, we are doing very, very well. Nico Hülkenberg is actually chasing down Lance Stroll in the Drivers' Championship. We're not going to catch any of this lot in the top 5, let's be honest. So P6 in the Drivers is the best we're going to hope for. Felipe Drugovich, our second driver, only has 5 points this season, but he hasn't scored for quite a while. When was the last time he scored points? Would it have been, what? Imola? Was it Imola? Yeah, probably Imola. We need him to bounce back a little bit here. He's gone a number of races now without scoring any points, and there's been a few errors in the last couple of rounds too. So yeah, Felipe, just need to pull your socks up a bit and do a little bit better. We can do a little bit better for him with the strategy and the setup. So I'm going to go and get the car sorted out to his preferences right now in practice, and I'll see you on track for qualifying. It's the end of qualifying for Felipe Drugovich then in Q2. 14th fastest. Qualifying so far has been rain affected. Nico Hülkenberg through in P4. But there are grid penalties for Sainz, Verstappen and Hamilton. So, and also George Russell, who was only 11th. So Felipe will possibly bump up 1 or 2 places at least. So it's an ATA tyre qualifying weekend. So we've got 2 sets of soft tyres to use, which is fine. We only ever use 2 sets of softs anyway in Q3. But I don't even know if we'll get to use them. No, we won't, because rain is incoming. What I'm going to do is wait and try and get a slipstream from the others. Let's get the sector colours up. We're not really close enough to get much benefit, although Hamilton's not that close to us. So we should be all right. So Alonso and then Leclerc and then Verstappen go fastest in Sector 1. Hülkenberg only a personal best at 28.2. Not sure. Well, we can get the times up, but it's just too. It happens too quickly to see them and to keep up with what's happening. So we're just setting personal best. We're not going to be troubling the front row, I don't think, today in this wet session. But Alonso goes top of the times. Let's see then what we can achieve. Verstappen does go fastest. We go actually ahead of Alonso. We're only a quarter of a second off pole. That was a terrific lap. Perez snatches the top spot now. It's a one and done session because the rain is here. Who else? Sainz absolutely smashing it. Gasly gets in ahead of us. So it's P6 for us, but Sainz and Verstappen will take grid drops, which means we should start 4th. We are ready to race here at Haas for the Italian Grand Prix. Fairly straightforward one-stop strategy because you lose so much time in the pit lane because everyone is doing 1,000 miles an hour around the Monza circuit. Hards to mediums for Felipe Drugovich, softs to hards for Hülkenberg. Opted for the softs because I want that quick getaway, see if we can get into the lead pack and go with them and build a gap to sort of the midfield runners, but also you're going to have some fast cars coming through the pack as well, so it might not quite work out how I'm expecting. We're going to go long with Felipe, play the long game. We might get a safety car at some point. We can change the strategy. For both drivers, there is that opportunity to do something a little bit different if there's a safety car at some point. I have underfueled. I'm not going to run out of fuel, as I have famously done at this circuit with Mercedes. So I think it's time to do a motor race. Here we go then. There's a Ferrari on pole. They'll be expecting a home win. 5 red lights. The lights are out. The race is on. Let's jump on board with Hulkenberg. Soft tyres for everyone. In fact, sorry, it wasn't a Ferrari on pole. Leclerc was on P2. Perez was pole position. I'm talking cobblers. Ignore me. Let's get the ERS battle assist sorted out. What's Drugovich up to? He's in the thick of things, holding off Albon and Hamilton, who are side by side behind him. Hulkenberg in the slipstream then of Gasly. No change in position after the first corners. Let's get Nico in clear air, see if we can make the move on Gasly. Not close enough to do it through the first Lesmo, but I'm sure when DRS becomes active we will have a shot. It may be even before DRS is active. Round the outside. Oh, hello. No. There's an early but unsurprising loss of position here for Felipe Drugovich. He's not particularly quick on the hards right now, and Lewis Hamilton on a set of softs just drives clean round the outside of him. Textbook overtake by the 7 times world champion. And on lap 8, here's the situation. Hulkenberg has fallen back behind. In fact, Drugovich has just got back past Hamilton. Look at that. Good spirit from the young Brazilian, fighting back. Well, mistake from Nico Hulkenberg here, and it's cost us a whole heap of time at the first chicane. We had been trying to save some fuel, but here just a simple lock-up over the sleeping policeman and back onto the circuit. I've never seen the cars do that, like bounce over the curves like that. That was quite interesting to see. Not that I'm happy about finding out, to be honest. We're now 3 seconds behind Sainz, and tyres have taken a bit of a nerf. We are fighting with Max Verstappen. We're actually back up into... we're up into 3rd position. This is as high as we've run so far in this race. But we've got some drivers heading for the pit lane. So Perez and Gasly have already stopped for hard tyres. We're going a little bit deeper in this race, so we're actually in a relatively good position. I think Drugovich was the only one who started on hards. I mean, if we can stretch this out a little bit more, we could even go to mediums. I think we bring Hulkenberg in this lap. Why not? Let's try and get a set of mediums to the end of the race. Take a bit of a gamble with the strategy and see if it... Oh, we've got a virtual safety car. So this is really good for us. Hamilton's crashed at turn 5. Okay. So here we go. He's just going to spin off at the second part of the chicane. Yep. And that's a broken Mercedes. Hulkenberg onto mediums and back out again. Lovely stuff. Ricciardo hasn't stopped. Gasly and Perez go through. Verstappen is the big loser in all of this. He's actually side by side with Drugovich. Drugovich is going to be fighting Max Verstappen when we get back underway. So Hulkenberg has just lost a position to Esteban Ocon. I don't think these mediums are really going to be that useful for us. We might be worth pushing on them and then going for it on a set of softs at the end, because we've got a fresh set available to us. Hulkenberg coming back at Ocon and going around the Alpine. Lovely stuff. Big fan of that. We should get the DRS for the main straight. We do, and we'll have the position. Thank you very much. So, yeah, not a terrible position to be in P5, but with Alpine 4th and 6th, not a fan of that. Mercedes currently not scoring any points. Hamilton in the wall, Russell in P14. So the 2 teams behind Merc look like they're going to close up at the moment, but Gasly is actually threatening for a podium. He's just taken pole sitter Perez for P3. Drugovich is now into P10. He's just passed Daniel Ricciardo. They've been having a massive scrap. And finally, Drugovich looks like he's made that position his. Hopefully we get a replay of that. And now he can set his sights on Max Verstappen for P9. We need Drugovich to score points today to capitalise a little bit more on Mercedes having a really difficult day. We could yet, if we can get to Gasly and Perez, we could yet snatch a podium. But also, we've got to look after the tyres. So I'm going to go light on them for now. And then see if we can extend their life a bit more. Felipe Drugovich into the pit lane. Nice and clear for him. He comes in. Good stop, 2.8 seconds. Good stuff from the team. He comes out in 16th. That hasn't worked. Hulkenberg, on the other hand, is still scrapping away with Ocon, but now they've caught Gasly and Perez. So there is a podium in the offing here for somebody who wants it if they're in an Alpine or a Haas. Hulkenberg, he's going around the outside of Gasly here and into P4. Who got DRS? Everyone got DRS. We're going for the podium. We're going past Sergio Perez. Here we go. Big harvest on the brakes, please. And is that P3? Not quite. Not quite. But we are now right behind Perez. So we'll take off driving clean air. And now we're just going to follow the Red Bull and make sure he's in our sights in the closing laps. We are conserving fuel with Hulkenberg. We might as well do the same with Drugovich for now, who is now 14th, but did get the fastest lap. So, yeah, that'll do. Let's go back up to balance with the fuel. And let's come back to this around lap 48, unless something else happens beforehand. I expect it will. The Alpines are now fighting each other. Good. Crash into each other and lose all your points, please. Okay, we are now immediately P3. I said something would happen, and here we go. Inside of Parabolica, we've even got DRS for good measure. So what I'm going to do, while we're in front, because I don't want to tear off, just going to conserve tyres and fuel, bit of harvest. So we are in a lovely position here, especially with our tyres. Ocon is in the best place, but he is also at the back of this queue, so he's got to get through it. Being in clear air is the place to be. So now we can bring our tyres back up to... we'll go standard. So now we can just follow Perez. That's fine. And then he can drag us along. We'll keep having DRS to defend against the Alpines. And hopefully we can steal a podium. Alright, bad news. Esteban Ocon has used those tyres that he had extra life in to just come past. Hulkenberg defended on the way into Ascari, but the Frenchman swept around the outside, so hopefully we've picked up DRS and we are close enough to the Alpine. We'll need to deploy because I'm guessing he's going to be doing the same. We're going to be risking a puncture at the end of this race. I knew this was a risky strategy. Drugovich is destroying his tyres and is only 13th. Did we get DRS? We did, so that's good. We can harvest the battery, go light on the tyres, deploy again. It's just going to be a little bit of a cat and mouse game. We've not got any traction, and now Perez is going to come past. I fear we're going to end up 6th. But maybe if we let Perez through, he could drag us back up to Ocon, because now we're exposed. This gamble hasn't quite paid off, unfortunately. We can grab a P4 out of it, though. That would be a mighty good... Still an incredible result, but a podium was potentially there. It's just got a bit worse because Pierre Gasly has come past. We are quickly running out of tyres. The hards were probably the shout. Yeah. This gamble hasn't paid off. Should have stuck to my guns with the hards, because these mediums just have not worked in terms of giving us the opportunity at the end of the race that we were hoping for. We're now risking a puncture. We are in DRS range of Gasly as we move on to the penultimate lap, so that actually we could still yet take P4. And on the final lap, I'm going to go attacking with the tyres. We don't want to overtake into turn 1, so I'm going to go low overtake aggression. We're going to harvest the tyres, harvest the ERS, sorry. Now we'll deploy, attack on the tyres. Now we bring the overtake aggression back up, driving clean air. I'm not sure we're close enough. Not sure we are. No, we're not. So it looks like it's going to be P5, but still we'll be finishing ahead of a Red Bull, which I must say is mightily impressive. Carlos Sainz is going to send the Tifosi home happy. He wins the Italian Grand Prix. Charles Leclerc, there you go, there's the cheers. Charles Leclerc finishes second. And we are just going to miss out on P4. Ocon's going to get a podium. You jammy little dodger. But P5, that's pretty decent. We've taken 10 points out of Mercedes today. Okay, Alpine have scored a huge amount of points. And our strategy with Drogovic did not work. But, I mean, we could have stopped under green flag and he'd have been down there anyway. So we might as well have done what we did and gone racy with it. Sadly, it's not quite paid off, but he's finished just behind Fernando Alonso. That's not too bad from him. Hulkenberg, though, another solid result. And we continue our run of points, which is every single race this season. So, Italy won their home race, closely followed by their neighbours, France, and then America's here, and Austria, the rest of it. And then Aston Martin representing Great Britain. But yeah, there's your top 10. Daniel Ricciardo getting points in an AlphaTauri double score. Yeah, Red Bull taking not so many points out of this race. Let's see what it does for the Constructors' Championship. We are now just 29 points behind Mercedes, although Alpine scored 27 points today. Okay, they are still, what, 23 points behind us? And they're not going to score 27 points every race weekend, but we are closing in on P4 and Mercedes. Let me know in the comments if you think we can catch them, or if they're going to do something that pulls them away. So once again, we do miss out on a podium, but only just. We're very, very close to those podium results again. Make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on the video for me. Subscribe for more F1 Manager content, and I'll see you for the Singapore Grand Prix in the next episode. You're the best fans. Goodbye for now.